So let me ask you a big question. What are people really like at work? I mean, deep down. Are we naturally creative, responsible people, or are we all just trying to do the absolute minimum to get by? The answer to that question, it turns out, changes everything about how a workplace is run.
Seriously, just think about it. Is the person next to you at work, are you naturally motivated or kind of lazy at your core? We're going to look at two managers who live at the complete opposite ends of this debate, and their beliefs, well, they literally shape the world for everyone who works with them.
All right, first up, let's meet Yolanda. She's a senior manager at a car rental company, and her entire philosophy is built on one simple thing: trust.
Yolanda just starts from this belief that people want to do a good job, that they want to feel satisfied by their work. So what does she do? She gives them real responsibility. She trusts them to make decisions. She actually wants them to use their own initiative instead of just following orders.
And you can see how this all connects, right? It creates this amazing upward spiral. When people feel valued, their morale goes through the roof, they're more motivated, and you just get this great feeling of well-being across the whole company. Now, let's meet someone with let's just say, a very different point of view.
This is Xavier. He runs a factory, and he's not messing around. He thinks all that talk about motivation is nonsense. In his world, his employees are lazy. They need to be watched constantly. And decisions? Oh, those come from the top down. No questions asked, no discussion. He knows it's authoritarian, but he's convinced it's the only way to get things done.
And there it is, side by side. It's night and day, isn't it? Yolanda's world of trust and empowerment versus Xavier's world of suspicion and control. So the big puzzle is, how can two managers, both running successful operations, have such completely opposite beliefs about the people they manage? Well, it turns out these aren't just their personal quirks. These two viewpoints are actually famous ideas in management, laid out by an American thinker named Douglas McGregor. He gave them two very simple names: Theory X and Theory Y.
Xavier, as you've probably guessed, is our Theory X guy. This is the old school, pretty cynical view. It basically assumes that people hate work, they'll avoid it at all costs, and so you've got to control them, direct them, and pretty much force them to do their jobs. Sound familiar to anyone?
And on the flip side, you have Yolanda, our Theory Y manager. This is the much more optimistic humanitarian view. It says that work is actually a natural part of life, like playing or resting. And if you create the right environment, people won't just accept responsibility. They'll go looking for it. It's all about unlocking potential.
Okay, so we've got Theory X and Theory Y. Seems pretty straightforward, right? You're either a Xavier or a Yolanda. But there's a footnote here, a pretty jarring one, that throws this whole neat little binary into a much, much darker light.
Yeah, what about Theory W? And trust me, the W is probably not what you're thinking.
Okay, let this one sink in for a second. Theory W stands for whiplash, and it makes this really provocative and frankly deeply uncomfortable point, that for most of human history, work wasn't managed with trust or even control. It was managed with force, under systems of slavery. And this just completely reframes the whole X and Y debate. It suggests that the choice we even have today between empowerment and control, well, that's a very new and maybe very fragile luxury.
So keeping all of that in mind, X, Y, and that really unsettling idea of W, let's bring this home. Let's pull this out of the theory and into your actual real-life job.
So how can you figure out what kind of world you work in? It's pretty simple. First, just watch your manager. What are their default assumptions about people? Do they trust you until you prove otherwise, or is it the other way around? Second, how do decisions get made? Are they just handed down from on high, Xavier style, or you actually asked for your opinion? And finally, just look at your own job. How much freedom, how much real responsibility do you actually have? So let's end on this one big question. I want you to really think about it. When you look at your job, your boss, your entire company, which world are you in? Is it a Theory X world of control? A Theory Y world of empowerment? Or do you sometimes see the faint echoes of that much darker history that Theory W reminds us of? The answer tells you a whole lot about what work really is today.